My wife walked out with her affair partner saying, "You'll always be average, I'm upgrading." I just nodded. She had no idea I'd closed a deal that made me a millionaire. The same week, her upgrade left her broke while I started a new life without her. I, 34 male, sat across from my wife Julia, 32, at our kitchen table and watched her throw away 7 years of marriage for a man who drove a leased Mercedes. She had no idea I'd signed the biggest deal of my life 3 days earlier. I didn't tell her. I just let her go. That was 6 months ago. Now she knows. Everyone knows. And the look on her face when she figured out what she'd walked away from? That was worth every silent moment I endured while she called me a failure. But let me back up. Julia and I met in grad school. She went into corporate marketing, steady salary, good benefits, predictable career path. I went into consulting, specifically helping mid-sized companies optimize their operations. The money was inconsistent at first. Some months were great, others were brutal. Julia hated the uncertainty. Every time I talked about expanding, taking on bigger clients, or building something substantial, she'd shut it down. "Aaron, you need to be realistic. Not everyone gets to be a mogul. Maybe it's time to think about a stable job." She said this constantly, at dinners with friends, during family gatherings, in front of her colleagues at company events. She introduced me as her husband who does consulting, air quotes included, like it was a hobby instead of a business I'd spent 6 years building from nothing. The final year of our marriage was the worst. I was working on landing a major client, a manufacturing company that wanted to be acquired by a larger firm. My job was to streamline their operations, make them attractive to buyers, then help broker the deal. If it worked, my commission would be 7 figures. If it didn't, I'd spend a year working for equity that would be worthless. Julia thought I was insane. "You're gambling our future on some fantasy. My friend Henry's husband just made partner at his law firm. That's real success. That's stability." Henry's husband was Henry, 36, the man she was apparently sleeping with, though I didn't know that yet. Henry worked at a big firm, wore expensive suits, drove that leased Mercedes, and talked constantly about his cases like he was arguing before the Supreme Court. He handled contract disputes for mid-level clients. Julia was impressed. I was not. 3 months before she left, the deal started coming together. The acquisition was happening. My client was thrilled. The buyer was moving forward. My commission was locked in, pending final signatures. I couldn't tell anyone yet. NDAs, confidentiality agreements, the works. The money wouldn't hit my account for another 90 days after closing, but it was real. It was happening. I wanted to tell Julia. I was excited, nervous, and terrified all at once. But every time I tried to bring up work, she'd roll her eyes. "Is this another big opportunity that's going to fall through?" So I stopped trying. I just worked, signed documents, attended meetings, and kept my mouth shut. Then came the Tuesday that changed everything. I got home from a closing meeting at 7:30 p.m. The deal was done. Signatures complete. The company was acquired. My commission was processing. In 90 days, I'd have $2.3 million in my account before taxes. I walked into our apartment with a bottle of champagne, ready to finally tell her everything. Julia was sitting on the couch with her laptop closed, hands folded, that look on her face. The look that said we needed to talk. "Aaron, we need to talk." I set the champagne down. "Okay. I'm leaving. I've been unhappy for a long time. You're a good person, but you're not who I thought you'd become." I just stared at her. "What does that mean?" "I thought you'd be more successful by now. I thought we'd have the life I wanted, but you're still chasing dreams that never materialize. I need stability. I need someone who's already made it." "Already made it," I repeated. "Henry and I have been spending time together. He understands ambition. He understands what it takes to build a real life." There it was. Henry, of course. "So you're leaving me for Henry?" "I'm leaving you for myself. Henry is just someone who sees my value." I could have told her right then. I could have shown her the signed documents on my phone, the confirmation emails, the wire transfer pending notification. I could have watched her face change from smug satisfaction to absolute horror. Instead, I said, "Okay, when are you moving out?" She blinked. That's it? You're not going to fight for this? You just told me you're sleeping with Henry, and I'm not good enough for you. What exactly should I fight for? I didn't say I was sleeping with him. You didn't have to. She stood up, grabbed her coat. I'll get my things this weekend. Henry's outside. Of course he is. She walked to the door, turned back one last time. You'll always be average, Aaron. I'm upgrading. I nodded. Good luck with that. She left. I heard Henry's Mercedes start up outside. I sat on the couch next to the champagne bottle and laughed. Actually laughed. Then I called my lawyer. The next 3 months were a blur. The divorce was simple. No kids, no shared property beyond the apartment lease I could afford on my own. She wanted nothing from the business because she thought there was nothing to take. I let my lawyer handle everything while I focused on work. The money hit my account on a Friday morning. $2.3 million minus taxes left me with $1.4 million liquid cash. I paid off my student loans, my car, and the small business loan I'd taken out 2 years earlier. I bought a condo outright. No mortgage. Then I started making plans. Julia, meanwhile, was living her upgraded life with Henry. According to mutual friends, she'd moved into his place, was posting constantly on social media about date nights at expensive restaurants, weekend trips to wine country, and how happy she was with someone who appreciated her. I didn't block her. I didn't look at her profiles. I just lived my life. I traveled to Tokyo for a client meeting, first class. I bought a car, nothing flashy, just something reliable and nice. I started working with bigger clients now that I had a major success on my resume. The business was growing. Then 4 months after she left, the industry news broke. The acquisition I'd brokered was featured in several business publications. My name was mentioned specifically as the consultant who'd made it possible. My commission, while not publicly disclosed, was estimated in the articles as high 7 figures based on the deal size. I found out later that Julia saw the article because 3 of her co-workers sent it to her. One of them worked with Henry and apparently made a point of showing it to him first. My phone started ringing that afternoon. First, Julia's sister Brianna. Aaron, oh my God, is this real? Yeah, it closed a few months ago. Months ago, like before Julia left. 3 days before, actually. Long pause. Does she know? Not from me. Brianna laughed. It wasn't a kind laugh. This is going to destroy her. Then came a text from an unknown number. It was Henry. We need to talk. Call me. I blocked it. Finally, at 9 p.m., Julia called. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. Hello. Aaron. Her voice was shaking. I saw the article. Okay. You closed that deal before I left. Yep. You didn't tell me. You didn't ask. You were too busy calling me average. I didn't know. Exactly. You didn't know because you'd already decided I was a failure. You didn't wait to see if I'd succeed. You just left. If I had known, if you'd known, you would have stayed for the money, which is exactly why I didn't tell you. She started crying. That's not fair. Fair. You left me for Henry while I was closing the biggest deal of my career. You called me average 3 days after I became a millionaire. And now you're upset that you didn't get to cash in? That's not what I meant. What did you mean, Julia? She couldn't answer, just kept crying. How's Henry, by the way? How's that upgrade working out? She hung up. Update 1. I didn't expect the social fallout to be so immediate or so brutal. Within a week of the article coming out, Julia's world started crumbling. Turns out Henry wasn't quite the successful lawyer she thought he was. According to Brianna, who was now fully Team Aaron, Henry had massive student loan debt, credit card debt from maintaining his expensive lifestyle, and was barely making his rent on that fancy apartment. The leased Mercedes was costing him $900 a month he couldn't afford. His big law firm salary was decent, but he'd been living beyond his means for years, banking on making partner. He didn't make partner. He was passed over the same month. Julia moved in with him. Julia had quit her job right before leaving me, thinking Henry would support her while she figured out her next move. She was planning to become an influencer, apparently. Posted daily about her upgraded life, her successful boyfriend, and her new journey of self-discovery. Then Henry sat her down and told her she needed to find work immediately because he couldn't cover both of them. She'd been living off her savings, which were running out fast. The fancy dinners stopped. The weekend trips ended. She got a job at a marketing agency making less than she'd made before, with a longer commute and worse benefits. Meanwhile, I was thriving. I'd hired 2 associate consultants to help handle the increased workload. I'd been invited to speak at an industry conference. I bought a place in Colorado for skiing, nothing crazy, just a small condo in a mountain town. I posted one photo of it on social media with the caption, "New project space," because I actually was using it for work retreats with clients. Julia commented on the post, "Some of us are building real relationships, not just buying things." I deleted the comment and blocked her. Should have done that months ago, but the responses before I deleted it were savage. People I didn't even know were defending me. Brianna commented, "He built a business while you built resentment. Who's average now?" Henry, the friend whose husband Julia left me for, commented, "Funny how you appreciate success now that you're not benefiting from it." Even Henry's coworker, the one who'd shown him the article, commented, "Maybe focus on your relationship with reality instead of Instagram." The comment section was brutal before I nuked it, but the damage was done. Julia's carefully curated, upgraded life was being exposed as a downgrade, and everyone could see it. Update 2. 2 months later, Brianna called me with news I didn't expect. Julia and Henry broke up. Okay, it got ugly. He kicked her out. She's staying with friends. Why are you telling me this? Because she wants to talk to you. No. Aaron, just hear me out. She's a mess. She realizes she made a mistake. She's sorry. She's sorry she didn't get half of $2.3 million. That's what she's sorry about. Maybe, but she's also genuinely struggling. She lost her job, her relationship, and most of her friends think she's a gold digger now. Brianna, I appreciate you, but I'm not interested in being Julia's backup plan. She had a choice. She made it. Those are consequences, not catastrophes. I know. I just wanted to give you a heads up because she's talking about showing up at your place. If she does, I'll call the police. Fair enough. Julia did try to show up. I have a doorman now. New building, better security. He called me from the lobby. "Mr. Gonzalez, there's a Julia Ramirez here to see you. She's not on your approved list. Tell her I'm not available. She's insisting it's important. Tell her to leave or I'll have her removed." I heard her voice in the background, getting louder, then the doorman's firm voice telling her she needed to go. She tried 3 more times over the next 2 weeks. Same result. I never saw her, never spoke to her, just had security turn her away. Then she tried email. Long, rambling messages about how she'd made a mistake, how she'd been confused and scared, how she'd always believed in me deep down, but had been pressured by expectations, how Henry had manipulated her, isolated her from her real feelings, and made her think she wanted things she didn't actually want. I didn't respond. I just forwarded them to my lawyer with a note. For documentation if she escalates. She did escalate. Started calling my office. My assistant, Clara, handled it perfectly. "Mr. Gonzalez doesn't take personal calls during business hours. Please send an email to his personal account." I have. He's not responding. Then I believe you have your answer. Julia showed up at my office building. Clara called security before she made it past the lobby. They escorted her out. Then came the social media campaign. Julia posted this long, emotional story about mental health, making mistakes, and how society judges women more harshly than men. She didn't name me, but it was obvious. She talked about how she'd left a relationship during a difficult time and was now being punished for prioritizing her happiness. The comments were split. Her close friends supported her. Everyone else roasted her. Someone found screenshots of her "you'll always be average" comment and posted them. Someone else found her posts about Henry being her upgrade. The narrative she was trying to spin fell apart in real time. I didn't engage, didn't comment, didn't acknowledge it. I just kept living my life. Started dating someone new, Harper, a woman I met at a conference. She ran her own consulting firm, understood the unpredictability of entrepreneurship, and never once asked how much money I made. She cared about the work, the impact, and the challenge. When I told her the Julia story, she laughed. "She left you 3 days before you became a millionaire? That's almost impressive levels of bad timing." I didn't tell her. Good. Never show your cards to people who've already folded. I was falling for Harper fast. She got it. She got me. We were building something real based on mutual respect and shared values, not Instagram posts and leased cars. Update 3, 6 months after the article, I ran into Julia at a coffee shop. I didn't see her at first. I was meeting Harper, running early, reading on my phone. Then I heard her voice. Aaron. I looked up. She looked rough. Hair pulled back, no makeup, wearing jeans and a hoodie. Not the polished, put-together version of Julia I'd known. This was someone who'd been through something. Julia, can we talk? Please? Harper wasn't there yet. I had time. Against my better judgment, I said, 5 minutes. She sat down across from me. Thank you. What do you want? I want to apologize. For real. Not through email or messages. Face to face. I messed up. I threw away something good because I was chasing something that looked better. I was wrong. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Julia? You left me for Henry, called me average, and now you're sorry because Henry turned out to be broke and I turned out to be successful. That's not growth. That's regret. It's more than that. Is it? Because from where I'm sitting, you're only here because the grass wasn't greener. If Henry had been everything you thought, if I'd stayed broke, would you still be sorry? She didn't answer. Couldn't answer. That's what I thought. I did love you, Aaron. I did. Maybe, but you didn't respect me, and I need both. Harper walked in, saw us, read the situation immediately, and walked over. Everything okay? Yeah, Harper. This is Julia. Julia Harper. We're done here. Julia looked at Harper, then at me, then back at Harper. I could see her doing the math, seeing how Harper looked at me, seeing how I looked at Harper, realizing what we had. I see. You've moved on. I have. You should too. She stood up, looked like she wanted to say something else, then just left. Harper sat down. That was her? That was her. She looks miserable. She made choices. So did you. You chose to let her go instead of telling her about the deal. Why? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Because I needed to know if she loved me or loved what I could provide. She answered that question pretty clearly. And now? Now I'm with someone who sees me, not my bank account. Harper smiled. Good answer. Final update. It's been a year since Julia left. I'm doing better than I ever imagined. The business is thriving. Harper and I moved in together. We're talking about marriage, but taking our time. No rush. We're building something solid. Julia, from what I hear through mutual friends, is doing okay. She got a better job, moved into her own place, started therapy. Brianna says she's genuinely working on herself. I'm glad. I don't wish her harm. I just don't wish to be involved. Henry apparently moved back home with his parents to get his debt under control. The leased Mercedes was returned. He's still a lawyer, just a more honest version of one now. The deal that changed my life led to 3 more similar projects. I'm on track to make even more this year. But the money isn't what matters most. It's the respect, the clients who trust me, the colleagues who value my opinion, the woman who chose me when I was just a consultant with potential, not after I'd proven it. Julia called me one last time, about 2 months ago. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to. Aaron, I'm not calling to ask for anything. I just want you to know I understand now. What I did, why it was wrong. I'm genuinely sorry, not because you're successful, but because I hurt someone who deserved better. I appreciate that. I also want to thank you. For what? For not telling me about the deal. If you had, I would have stayed for the wrong reasons. I would have been the same person, just with more expensive shoes. You gave me the chance to face who I really was. It sucked. It still sucks. But I needed it. You're welcome, I guess. Are you happy? I am, are you? Getting there. I'm working on it. Good. That's all we can do. We hung up. I haven't heard from her since. Maybe that's the real ending. Not dramatic, not vindictive, Just two people who realize they weren't right for each other and are finding their own paths. To anyone dealing with someone who doesn't see your value, who constantly compares you to others, who makes you feel less than, remember this. Your worth isn't determined by their inability to see it. Build your life. Do your work. Become who you're meant to be. The right people will recognize it. The wrong ones will reveal themselves by walking away. Julia walked away 3 days before my biggest success. Best timing of her life, for me. Sometimes the trash takes itself out, and sometimes, while it's out there, you become the person you were always meant to be. The person who knows their worth, protects their peace, and builds a life with people who see them clearly. I'm that person now, and no one, not even Julia at her worst, can take that away from me.